hosts, as always, Hugo, and
Bola, as always.
today we got a few topics to discuss because that's what we do, and that's what hopefully you listen to and you're entertained by. And if you're not, well, you can stay and listen anyway and be annoyed by us. It's your choice. That's fine.
That would be interesting to be listening to a podcast just to be annoyed.
Yeah, there are people that do all sorts of things, and it wouldn't baffle me.
Yeah, I guess there's a crowd for everything.
So, where should we start? Should we start with the idea of the return to filming everywhere? I'm not sure if you saw, but BC seems very excited to get back behind the cameras. I showed you the article from the New York Times on Coronation Street,
Yeah,
how they're so trying to reintroduce things. What have you been paying attention to with that?
um, I'm in the mailing list for a couple of things, so I'm always getting something, but it seems to be just inundated with micro details of everything that's going on in terms of reopening, right? I since the last podcast, nothing much has changed in regards of what's supposed to happen, right? It seems to be case by case, production by production, right? So it's like every production has their own protocols and their own method. There's only a few right now that I saw that are actually going or actually started up again out of the like
Which
the actually I do have my acting coach sent me something. I think it was just yesterday actually. I have it here, and it was yeah, it was. So right now he's auditioned and seen people audition for Love and Romance Oregon, Destination Wedding, My One True Love, and Good Doctor and Batwoman, and a feature called Songbird.
yeah, I don't know if those.
Yeah,
I know of all of them apart from
I know
that.
Destination Wedding is on your list, so I just wanted to mention
Have you seen a Keanu Reeves one yet?
which one? Oh, that one. No. Speaking of calories, do you know that movie Replica?
No, of it. I haven't seen it, but yeah.
I saw it came up on the Netflix as like number two in Canada or something like that, and I was just looking at it. I mean, the scene they chose was probably one of the worst scenes I've ever seen in a movie, right? I'm like, it didn't sell me. It was like a horrible scene with really bad CGI. And then when I looked up on the reviews on the internet, it's like I got like a 9% score on Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm just like, why is this number one and number two in Canada for all of a sudden? It's a movie that came out like 2 years ago, and I completely even forgot it even happened. And somehow it looks like it's like there's no good review out there of it, and it's number two in Canada.
But did you watch it?
No, I'm going to watch it because
So you've said all these disparaging comments about it and how it's been badly reviewed, etc. And the clip that they showed you was awful.
I love watching
But
bad movies. It's for research purposes, right? Just to see, because whenever I watch a bad movie, especially one that costs lots of money with big names and stuff like that, it gives me hope knowing that, okay, at least I can do something. At least I know I can do something better than this. And this costs X amount of money and had this amount of people on it and this name and that name on it. I mean, if they can screw up that badly, I surely enough there's hope for me.
I don't feel the same. I don't.
I,
When there's a bad film that I watch, I'm annoyed and I'll either turn it off or whatever. I'm not gonna go through 2 hours of my time watching a film I don't like just because it's been made. Like if it's a shit film, if it's a bad film, I don't want to waste the time. If I
some
saw a scene on a Netflix preview or on a trailer, well, actually on trailers it's different because you see a wealth of different scenes, but on
yeah,
one of these internet previews where you see just the one scene, I'm not going to take the time to watch that film.
I
I don't
could.
care if it's number two or number one or whatever it happens to be.
It's like you should do it for research purposes.
I think I think that's a term that people bandy about quite a bit. You're not researching.
It's
What
like
you're doing is you're dumbing yourself down for 2 hours of boring material.
No, it's just like it's a fascinating work and what to not to do. That's how I take it. It becomes that an exercise in what not to do and how things can go wrong because we tend to put these people on a pedestal, and then to me, it's a sobering reminder that they are mortals.
I think I think I found that more often than not on set rather than watching something. Like on
Yeah,
set, I've been able to determine, um, say there's a director or an AD that isn't talking to people the right way or conveying what they need to convey.
sure.
I've got more of that than I have if I'm watching something atrocious. If I'm watching something that's painful to watch, I'm taken out of it, taken out of it right away.
My this stems from a conversation I had with my older brother 2 days ago, and he was telling me to go watch Catwoman, right?
I've
Ju-
always wanted to, but it never have.
I've never seen that movie, and I remember when it came out and how it was completely like just completely trashed on all ends, right? And I remember even catching a clip of it on the internet or something once. It was one scene, and it was so cringy, but it just reignited my curiosity in it. So it's like
Did you
I
see it?
no, I didn't see it, but this was 2 days ago. So I put it in a mental note to watch that movie and this replica one with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I mean, there's a shortage of good material out there, so why would you try and watch something good?
It, like I said, to me, it's there's a silver lining in both of them. And for me, if I purposely go out to watch something that's horrible, it just gives me a better rep. How do I say a better understanding of what not to do. And like I said, for me, it's sobering in that sense.
I mean, to each their own. For me, no.
Well, just like I said, you have people who listen to podcasts to be annoyed. I'll be one of those people.
Precisely.
I'll be one of those people that watches watches a bad movie for a learning exercise.
Well, I mean, you did go see the new Bad Boys film. And a disclaimer to anyone that happens to be paying attention to this, which we would hope if you are listening to the podcast, you would be. I have not seen Bad Boys 3. I barely saw Bad Boys 1 and 2, but I don't remember
Did you like the
caring.
first Bad Boys?
No, I've seen it, but I don't remember being into it.
Oh man, that's a classic.
I mean, people say that, but I don't remember feeling it was a classic. But then again, I don't know how much attention I was paying to it, so maybe I missed
Oh,
the
man. I,
existential exploration and the timely, insights into. I don't know.
it's a. Did you see it when it came out, or did you see it like past its time?
Past this time,
Maybe that's probably what it is. Because if you didn't see it really when it came out at that moment, it probably doesn't resonate as well.
right?
It does it, which actually is a good topic because this is I've been thinking about this a lot for films, right? And in terms of like what impact, what is the time that you watch a film a huge portion of why you may or may not like a film?
I think it can be, but I think if it is, then it doesn't say a lot for the strength of the film.
True.
Like,
Well, we'll save that for another podcast, but I think it's a very good topic because I was running this through my mind lately and trying to debate internally, some things in terms of this. Is the does how much of a factor of what I consider a classic or a favorite movie of mine based on nostalgia or watching it at the moment in terms of, you know, how I actually view it.
I think it all depends on the age in which you watch it.
Yeah.
So you watch a film above your teenage years, I would, from my own experience, you have more of a rounded perspective of its quality. If you watch it pre adulthood, then you get the whole. I used to love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. Those I thought was cinema
But
gold
the first
when I
one,
was 11.
the first, I'm gonna actually, speaking of that, I'm gonna watch that again too because I was watching coincidentally clips of that like a few months ago. The first one, and I'm only speaking of the first one. Everything else has was a stead was a was a clear decline from there. But the
I
first
like
one,
the second.
second one was okay. It wasn't horrendous, right? It wasn't horrendous. The third one, yeah, somebody should have been shot for that. But the first one was classic. And I was watching some random clips of it on YouTube, and I'm like, that's I don't know, something about it was just to me was just really enchanting. And I'm like, and I was saying to myself, if I watch it again, especially this film, I mean, will I still enjoy it? Because, and like I said, I don't want to give up too much, but let's just say this: I saw The Godfather way past its prime. And to me, it was like a life-changing moment. But that's the sneak peek for our next podcast there. Uh, Going back to the COVID, going back to the COVID and the production side of things here. You sent me that article about Coronation Street, and especially seeing that picture with them on set and then kind of just spread apart. It just seemed kind of weird to me. And it's like I'm thinking to myself, is that what it's gonna be like for the next what year or two or something?
Well, the interesting thing about something like that is the way that telenovelas and British soaps and other things operate is they do so many episodes.
Yeah.
But with regards to things like Coronation Street and British soaps in general, they tend to root themselves in reality as much as possible. So they have decided to introduce the coronavirus to the show. It's a part of it which justifies the distancing.
Right. Okay. So that's interesting. See, that's I never even thought about that too in terms of like things that are going to be made. Will shows and well, especially TV shows and things that are being done at the moment, will they incorporate social distancing into the to the shows itself? And it's kind of interesting to see which shows do that and don't. And I would imagine
It
you
makes
probably have to in a lot of them, especially with like crowd scenes and
I mean, it makes it easier to film. It makes it so much easier to film. If you have the coronavirus as being a factor in your landscape, of course you're going to do that. And then, of course, what they're going to do is they're going to use it for devices. So these people must really be in love if they're being intimate.
right.
These things must really be this. They're going to have different contributing factors as to how the story plays out.
There's gonna be that just hit me. There's going to be a generation ahead of us that's going to be watching films from this era, and they're going to be they're going to just see films from this era, and then they'll be like, why do they all just seem so distant from each other, far apart and everything like that? It'll be such a surreal thing at that for future generations watching things that are being made in this time.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how things can come up because for you acting and then any on-set work for us, um, the availability calendars are all open again.
The available
So if you are able to do any of these things, uh, you can by choice. You know, you could be present on the sets when they start opening. Um, yeah, we'll see where it ends up because we've seen, especially in terms of our favorite president, massive resurgence happening. Beijing has had things going back to where they didn't want it to be. Um, yeah, just it's not going in the right direction.
talk of
Well,
second wave. Talk of second wave is what you're referring to, right?
yeah, an actuality there.
Yeah, yeah. It's always been an actuality.
Like you look at Brazil with that absolute twat Bolsonaro going, oh yeah, don't worry about it, it's just a flu, it's just a flu, it's just a flu. They weren't, if you can even apply the term ranking to this, they weren't that high up on the spectrum in terms of the amount of cases.
Yeah.
And now they're right around the top. I don't
The
know
the
if they're number
second,
two.
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible, right? You, so I'm wondering what kind of tune is he singing now in terms of maybe he's claiming the decimal places are in the wrong place or the commas are in the wrong place.
So have you
Before it
been
didn't
paying
exist.
attention
Now
to
it's
the news or have you been maintaining your fast?
have I been maintaining my?
Your news fast?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's I've definitely. This is not even a phase for me. It's like it's just definitely something that you that I think everybody's got to do, where you have to reduce the amount of intake that you take of this news cycle, especially.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But I'll give this little nugget just so that you can see what he's saying. Literally, what he's now running with is see the reason why we've got so many new cases is because we're doing so much testing. If we didn't do so much testing, there wouldn't be so many cases.
Right. Let's call that Trump logic. Now I had a friend today blame it on the protest.
That makes
I
sense.
mean, it makes sense, but to what degree, how much could that have actually contributed to it? I don't know.
Well, it's pretty simple. If you've got a bunch of people standing next to each other and you've got one sick person,
Yeah.
the idea is they're really close. So it's going to be able to transfer from one person to another unless they're really spaced out. And because, of course, it's a unifying protest, um, the proximity of one person to another, if he's sick, then she's sick, then he's sick, and so on and so forth, they could just go down the road.
Right.
And if they're together for like 6 hours or 5 hours or whatever,
Hmm.
seems completely plausible.
Could be. I mean, it's plausible. Then again, it's also seen that many of them, were, lots and lots of them, or more than half of them, were wearing masks.
But the mask part is,
And then who
as they
knows
would
how
say,
good that is.
pardon?
And but the thing is with masks is like we don't. I don't know if we know definitively, definitively how much they prevent.
Well, they've said that they do, but they prevent people from spreading rather than people from getting it.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you're a carrier, if you wear a mask, you prevent those around you.
Yeah.
But if you happen to be wearing a mask, it doesn't act as a safety guard.
For getting it.
Yes.
Right. Well. Okay. Well, that's interesting to know.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But in terms of until I get onto a set or you get onto set, it's hard for me to even see what's going on right now in terms of like how things are, how it's all gonna work.
I'm really interested to see because the main thing that you and I have always spoken about with regards to the way we want to run broken English is we want it to be as lightweight and as streamlined as possible. We don't want there to need to be 400 members of the sound department
Yeah.
or 400 people happening to manage locations. You keep it tight, you keep it light, and you get it done. With anything in the mainstream, we know that that's not the case. You know, you'll have 20 PAs, you'll have for any department this X number of assistants, and it just gets bigger, bigger, more bloated, bloated, and then you've got 150 people in the room, and one person has it. Well, there's 150 people that can have it.
Yeah. True. Yeah. So time will tell then, I guess.
I mean, if there ever was a point where the whole argument of actors and extras being replaced by CGI was relevant, it's kind of now. Because, you know, people
What?
showing up to set with masks.
It's relevant now, but it's still not affordable.
It's not, but can you imagine, like, say for example, someone's in wardrobe and they're on a dusty set or whatever, or they happen to be need to look dirty, so we need to put dirt on your hands, we need to put dirt on your face. The process and the tedium of having to reapply that with the repetitive hand sanitizer and washing your hands in between, because then it's going to be like instead of makeup coming up to you going, did you wipe that off, etc. The performer's going to be able to turn around and go, yeah, I'm meant to. There's a fucking pandemic going on. That's why I'm washing my hands.
Right.
That's why I've got the hand sanitizer.
God. So you're seeing the availability kind of a bit dodgy at this time.
Well, it's opened up in terms of you can be available now. So they are trying to get things moving. And there was an announcement locally that they're going to try and move BC to phase three. I'm not sure if they said that the film industry was under phase three or phase four, but nevertheless, they're moving things things forwards.
Okay. So the film industry is phase three at this. They're trying to move it to phase three.
Right.
Right. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't even recall all the points about phase three.
I'm not certain of the minor, but it's basically the maximum that goes to is phase four. Phase four, I believe, is open and a resumption of normal things. And phase three is just below there. It's a sort of a cautious motion or movement towards being that way.
Right. Okay. So restaurants right now are in phase three, right?
I'm not sure. I mean, I do know that there's lots already open.
Right. Right.
And when I say open, I'm on about open.
What were we talking? Oh yeah. So phase yeah, for the restaurants is a bit different because they have to do well, just like in the film industry too, they gotta do distancing. So there won't be at the restaurants won't be at full capacity. And I guess pretty much the productions won't be at full capacity either.
No, we'll see. I mean, everyone's itching to get back to work, and put out their stories, their product. I mean, this is people's livelihood.
Um,
Um,
I don't. The thing is, I don't like doom and gloom, but this kind of foreshadows. I think for me, I think this move for this, I see a lot of foreshadowing that might not be good for major theatrical releases
right.
because that's left a whole lot of things right now. Um, just left a whole lot of things in the air at this point. Because think about it now, the Cineplex, the theaters that we have here in Canada, they're just now opening up, right? But it'll just be half the capacity, right? What's that? And then think about what that does for the box office for these movies, right? It changes the whole economics of the whole situation.
Well, it's not just that. It's what we were speaking about before with regards to there's so much video on. You can't hear me? What about now?
Uh,
If I say words, are you hearing
can you hear me?
words? Okay, yes.
Okay.
So, with regards to the fact that we've now moved, in my mind, in a bunch of good ways, into video on demand of new theatrical releases. Um, we saw that like Mulan and Tenet by Christopher Nolan and a bunch of other ones won't be coming out this year as planned because of the revenue that they won't generate, well, theoretically anyway, on the VOD platform. But you had The Invisible Man, you had The Hunt, you had The King of Staten Island, you had You Should Have Left. All those films were meant to be first run theatre films that came out at $20 a rental on demand.
This is the plan. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. We're now moving the theatres, well, not
Right.
just theatres, studios have to decide what makes more sense. Trying to get some of that video on demand money now
Yeah.
and just increase the price of a rental, or wait to see when this blows over, when you can have it back in theatres. And the gamble that they played with some of the major players along the lines of your Tenet, your Mulan, there's a few other ones that I can't think of at the moment, but those have been shelved until they can come up with something. But then the on-demand versions of things of the slightly lesser size, like The King of Staten Island by Judd Apatow, and then some of the horrors have just come out straight away. Instead of taking their theatrical route, they've gone straight into VOD. Same with Trolls, the Trolls animated movie by DreamWorks. That smashed the amount of money that anyone thought would make on VOD because it came out on demand with a captive audience.
How much do you know the numbers?
I think it was, I don't know, it was multiple hundreds of millions.
Oh, really?
Demand on video.
When did that come out?
I'm thinking late March, early April.
Wow. That's interesting. So, I mean, that's a good sign then.
It is. I mean, out of all those films I mentioned, I'm not really that much into any of them.
Right.
I have seen them.
Right.
The King of Staten Island was alright. Had some moments which were good. You Should Have Left was awful. Kevin Bacon, Amanda Seyfried, avoid it. The build-up is great, and then the rest of it's just utter shit.
Right.
What else? Invisible Man, did you see that one?
No, I didn't. I saw the trailers for that, but I didn't see it.
Another one, builds up well, doesn't finish well. And then what was the other one? The Hunt, again. Fun, I suppose, but forgettable.
The Hunt. The Hunt. What's that one about? I don't know that one.
The Hunt was meant to be released last year. And it's kind of a sad scenario that I can't remember exactly which gun violence, mass shooting atrocity in the US made them shelve it. But there was some mass shooting in America, and they shelved the film at the time, which was meant to come out.
Right.
The premise basically was that humans hunting humans.
Oh, right. Is that the one that's like it lasts for a certain period of time or something like that? Or was it like a certain day?
No, you're thinking of The Purge.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking about The Purge.
The Hunt is by Damon Lindelof, who also did The Watchmen, which you haven't seen The Watchmen yet.
Not the TV show. The movie, yes, but not the TV show yet.
He did The Watchmen, he did The Leftovers, he did Lost. That's all him.
Right. So okay, well I can kind of see them why they shelved it for now, I guess, because of the sense.
And then it was out this year on VOD.
Well, it's just like I said. It's just for me. It's just put a question mark in the future of theatrical or just a big theatrical opening, right? For highly anticipated films. So I don't. Also, I mean, I don't. For me, I still love that experience, and I don't want it to die.
Of course.
It's just with I just fear it's just what I fear is that with this pandemic and then also the rise of streaming services, which I love also, that somehow maybe there might be this drift towards that, then and then the complete or not the complete or the just the dramatic decline of theatrical releases.
Right.
But
it all depends on how this virus works out. You know, it's I think everything's going to be really separate from now on. Just going to the supermarket, for example, the fact that there's protective shields, I can easily see that being put into the theatre in some manner.
well, I hope the movie theater goes on demand. That can be an experience. The supermarket could be an experience where I don't have to go to anymore, and I'll be very happy. If I could click some buttons and then it gets delivered to me.
Well, you can.
Well, actually, yeah. I don't know. I've never explored that. If it becomes really ubiquitous and very convenient, I probably would switch over to that without any remorse for, what it was back in the day when you had to go to the supermarket aisle.
There's a bunch of them. There's like Save-On definitely does it. I mean, globally, there's tons of them.
Right.
But I know that in BC, for example, Save-On does it. I think Safeway is moving towards it, but I don't know if they have a system up yet. There's a few places
Right.
where you can just go online and say, I want, these apples, these pears, I want this meat, I want that.
How quick is it delivered?
I don't know. I've never actually purchased on it, but I have seen it's up and active.
Ah, okay. You should try that out and see what that's like.
Yeah, Save-On or whatever.
Right. Okay. But just going back to the movie theater thing, I just hope it's like this isn't that final because you have noticed there has been, some would say, a decline in the movie theater, in the whole movie theater experience, right? In terms of box office sales and maybe the general interest. This could be one of those moments where it's a catalyst.
I think that there was actually a resurgence occurring with all the superhero films.
I mean, there was a that's interesting. I mean, there was a resurgence in definitely all those films, right? I just don't know if it was translated into resurgence in movie theaters in general. It's outside of those films.
All
Uh,
right. All right, everyone. So basically, we have a lot more to talk about coming up very soon. So make sure that you subscribe on whatever platform you happen to enjoy, happen to listen to, like favorite, whatever the hell you want to call it, and tune into Broken English Podcast, Broken English Films. You know it.
all right. Peace out, y'all.
Well said.